Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are joining us for 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Roundtable Leadership Symposium. Welcome back. I am your host, Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison, and I am bringing you another exclusive interview with the one and only Dr. Nakita Davis. Before I let her introduce herself, let me just tell you a little bit about myself and the symposium. So the 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Roundtable Leadership Symposium, which I am your host, Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison. What we do this in January, May, and September, and I am committed to bringing you quality, personal, professional, and leadership development for African American women in business to help you scale your business, to help you level up, to help you truly create the dream business of your desires. Okay. I am also your host for 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Roundtable show and podcast, as well as the executive channel producer of 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Roundtable channel on the one and only Women Win Network, which celebrates women doing what? Winning, right? So make sure you are following me on Facebook at Realizing Your Potential, the numbers 123. That way you can stay up to date with everything that I have going on. Oh, and I just forgot one thing. How did I forget this? Also, next month in June, I'm going to be launching my new anthology titled Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. So make sure you follow me so you can stay up to date with everything that is going on, and you will be able to join in and participate. Okay, so without further ado, Dr. Nakita Davis, go ahead, introduce yourself to everyone and let them know who you are, a little bit about you and who you serve and how you serve them.
Yes, Queen, it is time to play your royal position. Thank you so much, Queen Jacqueline, for having me on your amazing program. You are the bomb.com. If y'all are not connected with this queen, then you need to be. I'm not sure what rock you've been hiding up under, but this is where it is at. And I can say that because I've personally had the privilege of working with this queen now for quite some time. And she just continues to raise the bar and elevate. She elevates women, specifically women of color. And I am about that life. So yes, my name is Dr. Nakita Davis. I am the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land, and the proud CEO and founder of the Women Win Network, where we celebrate women who win 365. In addition to that, I've got the magazine, which is also the Women Win Network digital magazine. So I'm all about helping women of faith to crush the excuses, to stop the excuses and live out their God-sized dreams. I specifically do that through publishing, best-selling, and international best-selling books. I also do that through my robust PR and marketing. My team is on fire. If you don't know, you can Google us. We are Googleable, baby. And so we help women to elevate their visibility, their credibility, and their authority in the marketplace. They call me the Billboard Queen, Atlanta book hit maker, PR guru. At the end of the day, I'm just a child of God, but you can call me Queen because I'll call you a queen too, okay? And so I'm just delighted to be here and just to help the folks to be everything God has called them to be in season and out with some really golden nuggets and some tangible tips. Thank you, Queen, thank you again, Queen, for having me.
Well, listen, let me tell you, thank you for taking a seat at the table. All right. I am so super excited to have you here with us. And ladies, if you have not done so already, go ahead and grab a pad and a pen so you can write these jewels down, these gems that's going to be dropped during this exclusive interview. All right, so let's get started. So as you know, we're talking about leadership, all things leadership. First question I want to ask you, is, when would you say you began to see yourself as a leader?
Good question, Queen. I really believe that God impressed upon my heart leadership starting in my youth. For those who didn't know, in school, honey, I was a scholar in school, made straight A's, but I also participated in team sports. I ran track and I played basketball. So I got a mean hook. Okay. Yes, Queen, play a royal position. I'll get you on the basketball court and do something to you. But y'all know about now, but I used to. Okay. But I say that to say God has always put me in a position of leadership. And I'll say this briefly. I remember as a kid, there were times where I didn't want to always raise my hand or be the first one to say, me, I'll go, or I'll participate. Or if the teacher asked that question, because I felt like something on the inside felt like, oh, what about the rest of the students? What about the rest of the kids in the class? I didn't want to feel like I was taking the limelight. So in a way, I was trying to dim my light so other people could have an opportunity, because I knew the answer or I wanted to participate. And because thank God I was good at many things. He has given me many gifts. I didn't want other people not to get an opportunity. But somewhere along the line, I began to see, and I would secretly say this in my head as a kid. So I'm talking like, 10, 11, 12, around that age, when the teacher would ask for someone who wants to participate, who wants to be a part, or maybe it's the next school play. I used to sing very much so. I used to get the lead all the time for solo artists in choir and chorus and all of that. And so I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to volunteer. Inside my head, y'all, I'm not going to volunteer. I'm not going to say anything. And then when nobody raised their hand, when nobody would participate, all of a sudden I would just hear the teacher, Nakita. And I'm like, oh my gosh, in my head, of course, this is all going on inside like a teen's body, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even going to do it. I wasn't even participating. I wasn't even going to, be a part of the next thing that was the assignment or whatever the teacher needed us to do, or the facilitator, but I would still get chosen. So what am I saying? I knew from that point on, I'm no longer going to dim my light, because when you are chosen, you are chosen. I didn't choose the game chose me. You understand me? And so it was no reason for me to back down when, in my mind, not that I was going to be called every time or picked every time. This isn't some type of conceit or boasting thing, but I knew I had to rise to the occasion because other people were looking to me, even in my youth, right, to take that step, to follow that lead. And so I really say, leaders can be created, but leaders are also born. So I think it's phenomenal that you've got Born to Lead, and I'm honored to be a part of that as one of the featured co-authors.
Good. Well, that's so cool to hear you say that, because a lot of the women that I've been interviewing all have different stories. Some of them knew that they were leaders, that maybe they even told stories about being on the playground. And, they were the ones that are like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go do this. We're going to do this. And this is exactly how we're going to do it. They just take over. I don't want to say take over in a negative way, but they take charge. They have a vision and they're able to execute it, And others have been just kind of pushed into it, if you will. Maybe individuals at their work or people that they work with or people in their family are looking to them, for guidance and basically to take the lead. And they're kind of like reluctantly like taking the leadership crown, if you will, like, really? You want me to? Well, maybe. I don't know. Okay, I'll take it. One of those kind of things. So it's like everyone has their different way that they've kind of segued into it, and some of us wear it. We're like, yes, I'm a leader. And others are still kind of don't consider themselves a leader, although they are, so it's just interesting just to kind of hear feedback from individuals about how that is actually unraveled, if you will, in their lives. So next I'm going to ask you, what would you say are some of the good characteristics or qualities of a good leader?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many, but if I had to pick just some of the top, for me, it's definitely having faith, obviously. And that's because, you've got to believe that it can happen. You got to believe no matter what you see on the outside, no matter what's happening around you, you have to understand that when you are born a leader and when you're born to lead, your circumstances, your situation does not change your leadership. It does not change what's happening on the inside of you that needs to get out to the world. And that's whether you're in business, that's whether you're an employee, you're trying to raise the bar and climb the corporate ladder. If you're a wife, you're a mom, it doesn't matter what's going on around you because the wind is going to shift. You can't stop the wind from blowing, but you can change and adjust the sail, right? And so being a leader, you've got to believe that it can happen. I can be successful. And when I'm successful, I can help my team to be successful. I come from a corporate field before I became a full-time entrepreneur, right before the pandemic. I was in the corporate field and leadership and development. Like that's literally what I did. I traveled all over the country and internationally supporting award-winning teams, helping them to sharpen their toolkit and to be better in those places. But the first fundamental piece is they got to believe that they can cross the finish line. It doesn't matter what tools I give you. It doesn't matter what resources I give you. It doesn't matter how great I tell you are or how you've had similar obstacles in the past and you were able to crush it. If you don't believe you can win, then you have already lost. So faith is a huge piece. Another pivotal piece that you don't always hear this word, right? You hear trust, transparency. A good leader told me that you want to operate with this. You move as quickly as trust and transparency. That's the speed at which you're going to move. But you also have to lead with integrity. And that's a word that, in our field, speakers, authors, girl bosses, and just in business in general, I feel like some folks need to go and look the word up again. Okay. Just go back and read it twice. Okay. Because integrity is operating in such a way that, guess what? If you make a mistake, you're humble enough to say, I made a mistake and I'm going to fix it. There's no underlining innuendos, underlining motives you have in place. What you say is what it is. Now, we're all human. We all fall short. I don't care who you are. Jeff Bezos falls short. Elon Musk falls short. Whoever you think is the bomb.com, Oprah Winfrey, all the billionaires, Tyler Perry, just list them out, honey. They have all fallen short or did not meet somebody else's expectation. Yes, you want to get those tight, but the bigger piece, and it's small, but it's big, is the integrity piece. How do you handle it? Right? So that is huge for me. You got to have a faith. You have to operate and lead with integrity. How are you going to get other people to rally behind you to complete the mission or the vision if you lack integrity? That's huge for me. So if I begin to see those red flags, honey, I have to cut myself short. You understand? Because you cannot have that infiltrated in your business as you are a big, big business. No small businesses around me. And integrity is huge. Another piece is consistency. Oh my gosh. People will get an idea and they're excited. And I'm very much like that. I tell my folks all the time, honey, I see squirrels everywhere. What do I mean by that? I mean, a squirrel, I'm excited. Let's try this new thing. Let's do this new thing. It's a new project. It's a new, you can kind of get that shiny, the new shiny syndrome, so to speak, right? Almost like a cat going for the little yarn. That's cool. But consistency is what is going to make the difference. That's how your brand gets recognized as being a top leader in the business. Glory to God. He has enabled me to make Jesus Coffee and Prayer and the Women Win Network, along with my supporting cast and those women who have decided to link arms with me, a global brand. And he did it in a short amount of time because we're consistently applying the pressure. Are you applying the pressure, sis, queen, right? So you got to consistently show up, whether it's a billion people with their eyeballs on you or if it's one person. Are you consistently doing who you say you are? And if you'll pay attention to that, that leads back to integrity. Because integrity is doing what you say you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. Again, caveat, life happens, things happen, but do you own up? Do you take ownership right? Which is another key portion of being an effective leader. You must take ownership. The captain will go down with the ship. The queen will go down with the crown. You understand what I'm saying? Come on now. I got a my babe. What you want? Yes, honey. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. Okay. So y'all know I'm crazy. Look, I got to have fun. If I can't have fun, if I can't laugh, then what are we living for? You understand me? So, but that's important. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to take up too much time. But those would definitely be some of the pivotal pieces. You got to have faith. You got to believe. You got to lead with integrity. You have to be consistent in what you're doing. And I would definitely say you've got to enlist your supporting cast. You got to have folks who are willing, where you can convey the mission and the vision in such a way that they want to be a part of what God is doing through you. If you can't harness, that skill, it's going to be a rough battle to be the full leader that God has called you to be. So those would be some of the big pivotal pieces to being an effective leader in my eyes.
I love that you mentioned consistency and integrity, you know, and I'm, like I said, we did a panel talking about leadership, and I've been interviewing different leaders. And I think this is the first time integrity has come up, I think. So, but I totally agree with you. I'm really big on a sense of integrity, because to me, it's like, if I say something, if I say I'm going to do it, and like you said, things happen, but you have to just own up to it. You know, just admit it, accept it. And this is what I'm able to do, or this is how I'm going to come through, you know. So I think that integrity piece is huge.
I mean, that's a whole conference right there on integrity, and it doesn't come up a lot, the actual word, and breaking that down and what that looks like in your day-to-day life with your business, with your, if you're still a professional, mom, or, you know, working at a corporate job, or even to your family, you know, with your husband or your significant other, if you have children, like, what does that integrity look like? And then taking that ownership that I spoke about as well. That's huge to me. Like, if you don't do that, if you try to put the blame game back on me and try to reverse engineer it and try to, what did I hear somebody say? Gaslight. That's what they say now. Gaslight. People like, oh, no. No. You will not collect $200, and you definitely won't pass go with me. So try again.
Oh boy, it's such a joy talking to you. You make me laugh. I mean, you know, you really bring it, you know, because you're right. You know, this is a conversation that we having about leadership, and you know, we just flowing here. You know, I love it. So we talked, or she mentioned about consistency, integrity, faith is just to name a few of the things that she feels, and I agree with that encompasses a leader, right? Now, do you think, considering that the whole title of the anthology and of this symposium is Born to Lead, what do you think in terms of leadership abilities? Do you feel that we are born with leadership abilities? Do you feel that they're innate and that they just need to be refined or kind of brought to the surface? Or do you think that, or do you think people can be taught to be an effective leader?
Well, Queen, I don't think it's all inclusive. I do believe it's a combination. So without a shadow of a doubt, we all have innate qualities of leadership, right? So I mentioned some of those things. You have the capability, the possibility for more, to do more, to go out and soar and be everything God has called you to be, right? And to lead others. Here's where I feel the bigger gap is, so to speak. Folks believe they have to be the head honcho, the CEO, the number one in order to be a leader. Again, I'll roll back to when I was in corporate America for over 15 years, award-winning teams. You know, honey, I'm not even going to go over my accolades. It's just like we finished the show. And God gets the glory for that. But I'm just saying, okay, a sister knew what she was doing, and I really wanted to help other people win, even back then. But folks would get discouraged because if they didn't have the title, if they didn't have whatever degree was the it degree at that particular time, if they didn't have whatever the validation on the outside or on paper was, then they felt it was okay to shrink back and not be the leader when God had called them to more. And so I remember coming up with a job aid for my team at that. I mean, this is now been years and years ago, but how to lead from the desk. Because at the time I was working in a call center, and I've done several different positions. Like I said, the last position, it was a remote position. I had teams all over the country and some internationally in Jamaica and other places too. But at that particular role, several years, I don't even remember how many years back, probably about 8 years back, it was lead from the desk. So when I was in the call center environment, representatives, they wanted to be more, but they didn't know how to lead from the desk. Like, how can I be a leader? I'm not a team lead. I'm not a manager. I'm not a manager in training. How am I going to be a leader when I'm just saying, hello, welcome to whatever, XYZ? And I taught them that you are still a leader. Leader means you have control. You don't have control over everything, but you do have control over some things. An effective leader is able to root cause analysis, meaning able to identify where the gap is and where their area of expertise is spot on, and they can help formulate a solution. They may have to engage other departments, other collaborations in business, other strategic partners, but they know they hold the secret sauce for their place in space at the time. So, for example, that representative, guess what? I do have control of what's going on at my desk. I do have control of how I curate this call and make the customer feel comfortable and confident with me, that I am the representative to get the job done. And even if I physically can't be the end all be all, I will usher them appropriately, warm transfer them, and get them to the right person, because I am an expert at what I do. So what am I saying? We're all born with innate leadership capabilities, qualities, and possibilities. As we continue to breathe, it should always be refined. It should always be refined. There's no hiatus or place that you get to and now you say, okay, well, I'm the best leader ever, and there's nothing else I can grow on, and there's nothing else I need to know, and there's no more collaborations and no more connections and no more strategic partnerships, and nobody can tell me anything. That is when you know your leadership is going down, or it's about to go down. The pride before the fall. And we're not falling, Queen. We are raising the bar, and we are playing our royal position. And so in order to do that, you've got to be flexible, agile, willing to learn, and be real with yourself on where you soar and where you're sore. Okay, where you soar, meaning I'm the expert, I'm the go-to, I'm the glow-to, I get it done. Not that it's got to be that nobody else can do it like me, but nobody can do it the way you do it, right? In that space. And then there's the areas where, hey, you know what? I could do it. I could try, I could attempt, but it's not my lane of brilliance. So a real leader says, you know what? I know someone who is smart with this. They're amazing with this. And that's a leadership, because I'm going to collaborate with them. So it's a combination of both to answer your question. It's innate, but it always, always needs to be refined, and you can do it.
Okay. I love it. I love it. If we could just take a brief moment here and take one commercial, and we'll be right back.
Realizing Your Potential LLC presents Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. This anthology brings together women that have overcome hardships in their lives and have managed not only to survive, but thrive. Their stories focus on resiliency, adaptability, and strength, acknowledging the innate strength and leadership qualities in African American women.
All right, we are back. So with that commercial, just want to let you know that Born to Lead, Awakening a Leader Within is going to drop next month. And I am so excited. And Dr. Nakita Davis is also one of the featured co-authors of this project. So make sure that you are connected so that way you can know exactly when you are able to get your copy of that book. All right. So make sure you follow me at Realizing Your Potential 123 on Facebook, or either you can connect with me via my website, which is realizingyourpotential123.com. All right. So back to leadership. So Dr. Davis, growing up in your immediate family, did you see leadership qualities in other women in your family?
Well, I'm sure it probably sounds like a broken record based off of the other queens you've talked to, but I would definitely say my mother, God rest her soul. She's been going to glory now 14 years, but she really was a leader, and not only in our home, right? She made sure, I have an older sister, but made sure we never missed a meal. We never missed anything. You know, we didn't have everything, but we never missed. And that's because she worked really, really hard. She ingrained, okay, with the extra 3Ds on the end, a crazy work ethic. So for those who know me, they already know what I mean by that over here. And for those who don't know me, CC Round Town, we get it in and we get it done because it's like relentless, right? And sometimes I need to pause for the cause and rest, but for the most part, I am on it, and so is my team. So definitely my mother, but not only in the home, because she was huge in the ministry, and so I got to see with my own eyes how she would help and support and be there for the congregation and the people of the church and the pastor. She was a deaconess, and she was actually studying to get her ordained ministry license before she passed away. But, you know, still glory to God, I got to see that with my own eyes. And because of that, it was ingrained in the fabric of my being and my DNA. And I'm able to pass that along. We talk about legacy so many times, everybody, legacy this and legacy that. And it's so important. But, you know, legacy is more than just the tangible things. Yes, you want the money and being able to pass a house and a car, but it's those intangible things that will continue to last from generation to generation. And so I'm very grateful that she instilled all of those things I spoke about earlier for an effective leader: the faith, the integrity, the consistency, taking ownership. She showed that on a day-to-day basis in the home and in the ministry. And so she's been able to pass that on to me. And in Jesus' name, I'm passing it on to my daughter as well. I'm watching her with her businesses. She's 14, but she's already leading from the front. And it's crazy because in school, I'm able to see some of the same things that happened to me as a kid happen to her, where it's just like, Mom, we're the teacher, you know, first day of school. Oh, well, I was picked to be the XYZ, or I'm, you know, the leader for, I'm like, girls, y'all ain't even been in school for 2 hours. How you get that? But it's something about you. You exude confidence. And I know that's a big buzzword with you. Confidence, coach. Yes. Confidence. When you are a real leader, you exude that confidence, and people can see it, they can smell it, honey, they can taste it. And so my mother did show me that, and I lead with that, and I teach my daughter. And my son, he's 4, so he's still, you know, we still, you know, getting him in the game. But when he get there, we're gonna make sure that he's where he needs to be too. So yeah, absolutely my mother. And her name is 𝙌𝙐𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Williams. God rest her soul.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So that's something that comes up in terms of, you know, did we see that? And also, this is another conversation, but in terms of entrepreneurship, like growing up, you know, the women in our family, our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers, you know, were they in leadership roles? Did they venture out into entrepreneurship? You know, and did we see those types of examples? In terms of African American women, I think oftentimes when we're at these tables, like in corporate America, we don't typically see us there, you know, and oftentimes we might have those leadership abilities, or we have those leadership abilities, but we might be a little like scared, I guess, if you will, or just kind of shy away from those types of opportunities because we don't see a lot of us at the table. So that's come up as well. Because I know just being in my field, I don't really see a lot of us in leadership. I mean, maybe like supervisors, but not necessarily anything beyond that or anything above that. So I think it's also important to take note of what we see, and that's why I think it's so good for us to have conversations such as this, for us to have symposiums like this, to talk about leadership, to talk about entrepreneurship, because whether we know it or not, we ourselves are serving as examples for your daughter or, my nieces, so on and so forth, the other young ladies that come across us in the online space, right? We are setting examples, and coming from, like, I grew up in the 70s. And like I said, like, my mom was a homemaker. And I mean, she had that together, but I didn't necessarily see any women in my family in any sort of, definitely no entrepreneurship. And I definitely didn't have any aunts or, grandmothers or anything like that were in that corporate arena, actually in those high-powered leadership roles. So I didn't see a lot of that growing up at all. So I know your mom was a leader and served as an example for you. But now, what about, you've been in corporate America? What was your experience like there? And then lead that into, what are some of the challenges that you faced in corporate America?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll just say this super quick. So yes, I did see the leadership portion from my mother, but very similar to you, I didn't have anyone that I saw as a woman, Black woman, in entrepreneurship in close corridors where I could mimic or follow. And I'll tell this quick, like 60-second little blurb. So for me, and I think I maybe shared this one time before, but believe it or not, who I looked up to outside my mother, and forgive me if I don't have her, her name is slipping my mind, okay? But y'all know what I'm talking about. So off of Martin, Gina and Pam. So even though the show was, they silly and getting in all kind of trouble, but if you really think about it, they all were entrepreneurs in their own right. Martin was the DJ, but he was still doing his thing. He really had creative control and reign. But Gina and Pam worked for what? A marketing company. Whenever you would see them in the boardroom, you can go back and watch some old shows, right? Shout out to the Martin and the whole crew, right? Tisha Campbell. Thank you. They just came to me, Tisha Campbell. But they would be dressed up in their power suits. She would either be getting her coffee or breakfast or whatever. Yeah, she would laugh and play with Martin, but then her and Pam would kick Heine in the boardroom. They would be working on campaigns, marketing campaigns. They would be working on jingles for different folks that they had coming through. I remember one episode where they were talking about the Carl Kanais, which were like some type of underwear or something like that for some fictitious rapper at the time. And they were talking about crunching numbers and what was going to bring visibility to the brand. So I remember seeing that, because at 8:00 on Sunday night, honey, when Martin came on, was right there with my food, my Sunday dinner. Mama done cooked something. We all watching Martin. And I looked at that. And so even though I didn't have anyone to see from an entrepreneurial standpoint, in the back of my mind, that's why subliminally is so important, what you feed your mind and what you surround yourself with, because it does seep into your psyche. Okay. And so seeing her, I said to myself, you know what? I would like to do that as a kid. I would like to be a boss. I would like to be in the boardroom. And so to see African-American women back then, that did play a huge role. And then I also used to love watching Living Single. And guess what? You had Queen Latifah, who was the owner of what? A magazine company. I want you to look at this guy. Come on. I wasn't even coming in here for all this today. But look at this. I watched Martin, Gina, and Pam be marketing executives. Now I have my PR firm where are working with everybody from Eric Thomas to Les Brown to Dr. Cheryl to Sonia Stribling to, you know, folks on Bravo TV. I've done campaigns and I've worked with some really amazing folks. And not that you have to be a celebrity or the world's greatest for me to work with you, quote unquote. And when I say world's greatest, meaning world renowned and you're all over the blogs, but I've had that opportunity. But it started as a child, seeing that, just sitting eating Sunday dinner, watching Gina and Pam do their thing in the marketing room. And then you think about Living Single, which was 4 or 5 Black women living together up north, because we know how expensive that is. That's how they save money, but they were all bosses in their own right. Latifah on Flavor magazine. So now here we have the Women Win magazine. So it's important this is just a side note. It's important if you got kids or grandkids or you're around any kids, it's important what you say. It's important what you do, because they are watching and they are listening. And I am definitely an example of watching and listening. And now here I am with two successful businesses, the Women Win Network and Jesus Coffee and Prayer, where I help with the PR, the publishing, and then the marketing, of course, but then also have the network for the TV and the magazine. So I wanted to say that. Segueing very quickly into your question. Yes, in corporate America, for me, it was definitely one of those things where I noticed a shift. So I came in very early with my corporate career, but I was always smart, because I told y'all in school, I was very scholastic. I was like the little geeky, not knocking, shout out to all my fellow geeks. But, I love reading, I love writing, I love math, and things of that nature. So that was important for me. I love learning, education, and getting a wealth of knowledge. And so that behooved me when I got into the corporate field. So I was able to excel very, very quickly. But in doing that, at first I felt like, and I'm just being honest, I love everybody, no matter race, creed, religion, I love everybody. But just keeping it real, since we're talking about African-American women, I noticed that separation where predominantly white males were in position of power. And so if I wanted to rise, I needed to, from a business corporate standpoint, I needed to appear validated and credible in their eyes. So they had to go from seeing me as this go-getter who can get it done on herself to how can we position her, or is she ready to be positioned to help us build up award-winning teams? And so absolutely there were challenges that came into place, because I don't know if you can tell, I'm not the quietest. I am who I am. I'm going to speak my mind. Now, I did it tailored and seasoned with grace, but that was something that, there would be sometimes, not all the time, but there would be some friction where they felt like, they wanted me to sit down and kind of play my place. What do they say in the NBA or basketball? Like, just shut up and dribble. Right. So it was kind of like that, and I wasn't having it. And so I had to find a way to play chess, not checkers. If you're on my social media, I say this very frequently. Chess, not checker simply means, instead of trying to go your way and go up, 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 or a straight line to wherever you're trying to get to, it is taking a moment to assess what's the best power move, strategic approaches to getting what you want to get done. And so I had to learn that sometimes the hard way. And then there was definitely the faith that was on my side to get those things done too. So it was definitely a challenge. And I didn't see a lot of me in a lot of rooms. Many times I was either the only face, or there was just a few specks, not calling people specks, but just a few flashes of color in the room to a predominantly white male dominated room. So I had to know who I was and whose I was, so I would not get discouraged in the process. But all the while, God was creating it to where I would be able to take up that same skill, all the nuances, and learn from some of the best in the business and translate that over to my company. So that's how I made the best power move, and the best chess, not checker move, was to take all these pieces that y'all teaching me to build y'all billions, and take it and now come over and make mamas millions. So there we go. It's going to be billions, but I'm just saying the quick transition. Yes, Queen.
Oh boy, you.
I answered your question.
Yes, you did, and then some. Yes, I have seen your posts about this is chess, not checkers.
No, ma'am.
Well, you definitely answered it because I was asking you about what some of the struggles were or different things that you have experienced, you know, in corporate America, because I know I've heard you mention that you came from corporate, you know, so and this is I interviewing different women, not just for this symposium, but just in general on my show. And a lot of women, a lot of us come from that corporate background. And now they're using those skills that they use to build others' company, other people's company, to build their own. You know, and it's nothing against, you know, if you want, you know, those that want to continue on at the different Fortune 500 companies and so forth. That's great. I support them as well. But I like it. I like to see. I like for women to know that those skills are transferable.
Yes, they are.
Exactly what you're doing for somebody else, you could do it for yourself. You know, and be able to have your vision. You know, create your vision, which is you want to help women win. Right. And you do that on so many facets, whether it's giving them a voice, right, through publishing a book, whether it's making them more visible through your PR, excellent PR packages. Get this Women Win Network. I mean, a complete network, Christian, you know, based network that's specifically to see women win or to empower women. Right? I mean, that is so powerful, you know, and that's why I like having these types of conversations, because for other women, there could be women out there that are sitting there wondering if they can do it, wondering if they have what it takes, right? Or it could be a scenario where they feel defeated. Because I'm telling you, I'm, you know, just keeping it real. There's a lot of times where I just got a pep talk earlier today, you know, because I was feeling a little discouraged, you know, and it happens. You know, there's different hurdles that we have to jump over. You know, sometimes we get knocked down, or, you know, maybe something someone said or did just kind of like, just like really just hit us, you know, and we just kind of just feel deflated for the moment. And that's okay. But just make sure that you don't give up, that you get back up and you keep going. And seeing examples like this, hearing people talk about their different experiences, you know, that I want you to know you can do it. It is within you. You can do it. You have everything that you need in order to be able to carry out your vision, whatever that vision is. So in conclusion, what would you like to leave the audience with in terms of leadership? You know, so leave us with something encouraging, as well as maybe another gem or another nugget that you want to leave the ladies with, please.
Absolutely. Well, again, it's always a pleasure. Whenever we link up, it's going down. You just can believe that, period. Okay. But I would definitely say, you know, ladies, you can do it. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever's been impressed upon your heart, whatever you've been dreaming about, vision about, drooling over, Queen, you can do it, but it is going to take some work. And here's a reality check, just like Queen Jacqueline said earlier. We're not against you working a 9-to-5. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I used it for a little bit to fuel and funnel. They were my number one investor, and they didn't even know it, honey. Yes, well, God was positioning me to make that transition from full-time corporate work into my own big business. They were my number one angel investor. They didn't even know it. So you don't have to just quit right away. But I will say you need to get serious, because there's no time like the present, and tomorrow is not promised. Every day, you know, I don't want to get morbid or go into anything sad, but the reality is, y'all see the timeline, your friends and family find out folks are not going to be here forever. That's myself included, Jacqueline included, and we're going to live a long life. In Jesus' name, we declare it, but nothing is promised. So why are you waiting? Why are you sitting? Who or what are you allowing to hold you back? And sometimes it's not the external pieces, it's you, Queen. I need you to get that together because the world needs your voice. Whatever you do, if it's the latest invention, I don't care if you're selling eyelashes or bundles of weave, whatever it is, it's helping another sister or another brother. If that's the case, if that's your target market, you're helping them to be greater and to do greater things. It's the intangible pieces. So I would say to you that you can do it, but you need to do it now because time is of the essence and tomorrow is not promised. The longer you wait, the bigger the voice of the naysayers, the bigger the voice of your inner critic, the bigger the voice of the enemy, the adversary that's trying to push you away from being great is going to get. And soon, if you let it continue, it will muffle, it will squelch, it will silence the inner voice that always told you you can be great, that always told you to dream bigger, that always told you that you can soar in this life and be financially free. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to bless the world and also get paid, sis. You are a big business. Stop giving away all the milk and cookies and the cow. Y'all giving away the milk, the cookies, and the cow. Stop giving away the milk, cookies, and the cow. Keep some of that for yourself. You deserve it. You work freaking hard. I know I work hard. Honey, my husband would tell you. Sometimes he'd be like, oh, which queen you on the phone with? What you doing? What y'all got going? And he means it with love, and he's an amazing support system. I will say that. So he knows I'm just messing with him. But I'm being serious with you, though. I need you to do it because the world needs you. And that's why, just to segue, if it's okay with you, Jacqueline, that's why the Women Win Network, we are actually launching and presenting our blueprint. It's an exit strategy for women who want to leave, who plan to leave, who know inside in the pit of their stomach that they were designed to do more and walk into full-time entrepreneurship in the next 6 to 12 months. So we're actually going to Mexico. We're going to be going to Tulum, Mexico in November. So this fall. So I will just leave that shameless plug. If you're wanting to be with other amazing, dynamic women who have done what you're getting ready to do, not attempt, because you're going to do it. I don't care what your mama did, your grandma did, and everybody else did, but you're not going to attempt. You're going to soar and you're going to do it. But man, oh man, if I could have all these nuggets, even the pitfalls, even the losses before I made the shift, already doing great things, glory to God, but I know I would be soaring even higher right now. And so I want to put women in a room who are honest and earnest and serious about it and elevate together. And so that's why we're doing the Women Win Presents, the blueprint exit strategy. So for those women who are looking to leave in 6 to 12 months, you're going to walk out with a physical blueprint on how you can do that. You'll be inspired, you'll be encouraged, but you'll actually walk away with some tangible things in your hand that you can refer back to, right? So that you can make that flawless exit into your greater. So yes, you can do it, queen. Do it. Play your royal position. Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I do remember seeing a post about that. So it's taking place in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in November.
Correct.
And is it a retreat or is it more of a conference?
So no, it will be a retreat. It is a luxury retreat, right? So anything mama does is going to be, we got to have a little Grey Poupon on the side. Look, y'all, I'm crazy. So they got Grey Poupon. That just means it's going to be nice. Okay, queen? Well, would never bring you anywhere that mama wouldn't rest her crown. Okay. So yes, it's going to be beautiful. And we're going to have some amazing other activities lined up for you. In addition to, of course, professional photos, videography. And we actually do have some limited speaker slots available for those who really can pour into the group. It is exclusive. We don't want 100 people. I don't want 50 people. I need it to be intimate because folks are going to pour out. They're going to pour out their real feelings and how they struggle with whether that's making sales, whether that's getting the right systems in place, financially, tax-wise, how to get yourself set up appropriately so you can soar. So many times we just talk about the gift and just run, and then people just run out in the street and get hit. Don't run out in the street and get hit, queen. We want you to be set up appropriately so you can legitimately run your business and soar. And then you got the backing of those testimonials from other women, 6, 7, and 8-figure girl bosses who are doing either what you're doing or something similar so that you can actually be set up for greatness. And I will say it's not exclusively only to if you're in a corporate job or a 9-to-5 and now you're transitioning. Maybe you are already in business, but it's been past due time for you to elevate to the 10th dimension. You're still going to get that value from this particular retreat. So folks can email me at info@JesusCoffeeandPrayer.com. And then the subject line, just put, I'm going to Mexico, and I'll reach out to you, or someone from my team will reach out to you with more details. So I'm very much, and we spoke about this before we started talking, Jacqueline, Queen Jacqueline, I'm very much less is more. The older I get, the wiser I get, less is more. I don't want the fair weather. I don't want everybody. I want the right people, because with those right people coming with open hearts, willing to receive, and just amazing attitudes, I know that they can soar, and I would love to lock arms with them and help them do that. And so with my team. So yeah, excited.
That sounds exciting. Wow, that sounds exciting. Boy, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here in this space, in the symposium, talking with us about leadership. Thank you for taking a seat at the table, Dr. Nakita Davis.
I appreciate you.
We're going to go ahead and close everything out. Again, thank you so much for joining us for the A Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. Please make sure you check out all of the other exclusive interviews as well. And make sure you come to the table with an open heart, ready to listen, and a pen and pad, okay? So you can take all of this information in and be able to use it to scale your business, right? To develop personally, professionally, as well as develop your or refine your leadership skills as well. So let me close everything out by saying, if you are interested in being a host or hosting your own show, I am looking for show hosts on my A Queens Roundtable channel, which is on the Women Win Network, which we can be seen on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV, reaching 100 million homes. So if you are looking for maximum visibility, to increase your credibility, to network, then definitely look me up. Follow me on Facebook at Realizing Your Potential. The number is 123. As well as you see my website, you can contact me there at Realizing Your Potential. The number is 123.com, or either you can email me at realizingyourpotential123@gmail.com. Let's connect. I'd love to let you know what sort of offers I have in terms of being a show host, as well as being a guest on my show, or possibly participating in one of my upcoming symposiums. All right, well, take care, and I will see you all again soon.
Oh, Queen, if I may say, I apologize. Forgive me. Look, your sis never say how you can follow me on social media. Forgive me. Look, didn't I tell you I squirrel at the beginning of this? I did. So rewind the tape. Make sure you follow me at Jesus Coffee and Prayer on Facebook, and then Jesus Coffee and Prayer on Instagram, as well as the Women Win Network on Instagram. And I just look forward to connecting with you all and watching you glow up and blow up in this season. Queen, it's time to play your royal position. Thank you.
That's
Queen.
right. That's right. And I forgot to let you guys know again, the Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within book anthology is going to drop next month. So definitely be on the lookout for that, so you can participate in our launch as well as grab your copy. All right. So take care, and I'll talk with everyone soon.
Bye.